Welcome everyone. This is a series of Path of Exile guide for beginners. Today we're going to look at a crucial factor for Path of Exile, which is currency. As you know, the game is free to play, but one of the major mechanics in the game is currency. We do not have gold in terms of the medium of exchange, so you can't buy anything with gold. In return, you have useful items which can be used as source of currency. For example, each of the items does something for your items. This Scroll of Wisdom identifies items, Town Portal will opens a portal to the town, and all the way up to the Exalted Orb, which is one of the most expensive items in the game that can almost exchange into a full set of early game, end game gears. So I was able to get pretty much the end game gears with one Exalted Orb. One Exalted Orb is actually worth a lot of Chaos Orb, which is the most common medium of exchange. And yes, I did go with a lot of medium of exchange. Let me try to explain that. So right into the game, as you play through the game, you'll be looting a lot of different type of currencies. Majority of them have little or not that much value until you collect a lot of them. So the ones that can be valuable for you can be the Orb of Alchemy, because that's used in a few of the items that can be used to purchase items from the NPC, also from players. Players tend to trade not Orb of Alchemy, but the Chaos Orb. The Chaos Orb is a little more expensive than Orb of Alchemy. I believe it's about 2 to 1 right now. So 2 Alchemy goes into 1 Chaos Orb. Chaos Orb is basically gold, if you think about it. It is the medium of exchange for almost every item in the game. Some of the items in my inventory on my character here will cost about 20-30 Chaos Orb. Sometimes it costs a little more. Here we have a shop. Some of the items that list in the shop cost 4 Chaos Orb, some of them cost 50, some of them cost like 20. So the currency for Chaos Orb basically is your standard. Anything that goes higher than Chaos Orb, you do want it. Anything that goes lower than Chaos Orb, if it's too difficult to get lots of them, you might not even bother looting them. After Chaos Orb, this is a pretty interesting one, the Gemcutter's Prison. This one is called the GCP, and most people do use it for a small medium of exchange. It is slightly more expensive than the Chaos Orb. It's about 1.3 was it, or maybe 1.2 to 1, so it's a slightly more expensive one. The next view which I have to present with you guys is the Orb of Annulment, which this one is costing about 15 to 16 Chaos Orb in the current league for the Metamorph, and of course the price varies in different league. Next one we have is the Ancient Orb. Those orbs all of a sudden have a very good effect on items. For example, this one, it will change a unique item of the same type into a different item. And what people does with this particular orb is they want to roll for items that doesn't exist in the league or that doesn't exist in this season. There's a very special one called Headhunter, which is a belt that's really broken that costs like, I think how much does it cost? I think it costs like 10,000, over 10,000 Chaos Orb. And this is one of the items that you can access to that particular belt by rolling a belt into the unique belt that you want. So this item itself costs about 90 Chaos Orb. And lastly, of course, most of us know the Exalted Orb. Some of the rarest item in the game sells for Exalted Orb. The Exalted Orb in this current league is about 180 or 190 to 1 Chaos. 180 or 190 Chaos to 1 Exalted Orb. So basically, if I'll show you guys a quick summary of the meta of exchange. So here we're talking about the medium of exchange, and how do you exchange that is on the website. There's main website, there's PoE Trade, there's Path of Exile Trading. Lots of those websites allows players to directly link their data with the website to show you what is offered. For example, here players are offering for different currencies for Chaos Orb into Exalted Orb. You can see how valuable it is, and usually most items do sell for like 20 or 30 Chaos, until the really rare ones sell for 1 or 2 Exalted. So I'll share those links with you guys if you're interested in trading, or make a special video on trading as well. So coming back to the beginner's guide, what I also want to share with you guys is not only the value of currency, and later in the future we'll touch on the use of currency, which will be focused on the beginner's crafting guide. Here I also want to show you guys what currency or what items can you exchange into something else. For example, if you didn't know that in Act 1 you can actually buy portal scrolls. I know it's common and most players like, isn't that obvious? But sometimes we run out of portal scrolls and people actually forget you can actually buy them. Where you can buy them is you can buy them on the Act 1 NPC with Nessa here. Nessa actually sells the portal scrolls for 3 wisdom scrolls each. And you can exchange wisdom scrolls in a number of ways. For example, you can use the currency here, which is a pretty abundant currency, the Orb of Transmute. I do believe one of them changed for how many? Let's have a look. So Orb of Transmute, one of them changes for 4 Wisdom Scrolls, and this in return can change into the Portal Scroll. And there's a lot of change factors that's known and not known to players in the game. So I'll touch on some of the basic ones. There's even more rare ones. This will help you with picking up items as you level up, because if you pick up valuable currency, you can exchange with players for better items and upgrades. Now let's get into it. A common one we have is the rainbow one. When you have 3 different gem sockets of different color and they all linked, you'll be able to exchange that for a chromatic orb. Chromatic orb is not the most expensive currency. I think 7 of them or 6 of them sells for 1 chaos orb, but it's not bad for items you can find very commonly. So that's definitely one factor to look for. Second factor is you can look for a 6 linked armor. A 6 linked armor is a very rare item, and that itself sells for 1 divine orb. I don't have a divine orb to show you guys here, but the divine orb will actually sells for about 22 chaos or 20 chaos at least. So it's definitely a good currency. And yes, X-Knife mentioned also a 6 socket item. What does a 6 socket item do? Is you will be able to sell a 6 socket item for 1 or actually 7 Jeweler's Orb. You'll get 7 Jeweler's Orb for 1 6 socket item. It doesn't have to be linked in any way, and about 11 Jeweler's Orb will sell for 1 chaos. So it's about 0.5 chaos that you can grab just off the ground at any stage of the game if it drops. So to repeat that, it's a 3 linked rainbow color and also a 6 socket. There's a lot of other things you can exchange. For example, you can exchange armor scraps for lots of Scroll of Wisdom. Sometimes you want to keep them. You can exchange the Blacksmith's Whetstone for those as well, but that might be not the best exchange. What you want to do is you come to the Act 1 NPC and you can purchase some of the different exchanges with him as well. For example, you can get the Blacksmith's Stone with the exchange of the armor scrap. So there's a few more tricks with the trading of NPCs. There's lots of recipes of exchange for currency. For example, if you have different superior gems, that's gems with quality. Here you can see this gem has 14% quality. If you put those in, this one's 12, this one's 10, this one's 13. All of a sudden, this item becomes a GCP or Gem Cutter's Prism. This item worth a little more than the Chaos Orb, and it will just cost the total gem quality to be over 40 to exchange for one of them. So if you pick up gems of skill gems that you don't need, you can still sell them with a quality. Keep in mind, this item will upgrade the quality of a gem by 1. So exchanging for you're exchanging for currency that is not the best exchange if you need the skill gems, but it will be a good exchange if you don't need the skill gems, because they don't have any use otherwise. They have to be quality 20 in the late game for some good use. Getting into the next part of the exchange varieties, we have the variety of 3 of a kind. Some of the items, when you have 3 of a kind, you can look at the NPC, try to sell it to them, and this item actually gets upgraded. For example, the item I have here upgrades melee weapons into attack speed when you craft items. Here we get an upgraded version of that, and this goes up further each time you exchange 3 of the same kind. And this works for the oil as well. You'll find some oils in the late game which can give stats and also skill buffs to your sockets. It can give buffs to your maps and also to your amulet. For example, here I can exchange different oils of the same kind of 3 of them into an upgrade of another oil. Next up, because it's a Metamorph League, you can exchange 3 different Metamorph parts for different Metamorph parts. This will be a random one, and usually you find those in the late game. And it's a special bonus one that for those players that have progressed in the game far enough to get to Act 2, there's a special quest in Act 2 that you'll be faced with a choice. You'll be facing NPCs that will ask you to kill the other 2 NPC, and you'll be benefiting from different stats boost. I think there's a physical one, there's a defensive one with all resistance. So you get to kill 3 different rogues. If you don't kill one of them, you get their reward. But if you kill all 3 of them, you get 2 bonus stats. You get 2 bonus points of skills that you can add in your talent tree. And in the late game, those skills are pretty rare. And sometimes I pick the resistance, sometimes I pick the skill. Other times I want to reset, and it's possible to change your choice within the quest. How do you do it? Is you find one of those special amulets. This one's a Lapis amulet, and you can get the orb of some regret orbs. Oof. So yes, I did miss this part. You need 20 orb of regret. Then with a Lapis amulet, you will be able to get a book which allows you to change the choice you made within the quest lines, and this allows you to change. Now you want the 2 skill points, or if you want the resistance or attack, you can change that. But you do need 20 Orb of Regret, which sells for about 10 chaos, and any of the amulets, there's a list of them. There is always helpful information for Path of Exile online. For example, if you want in-depth system of the vendor recipe system, you can go search up this website, which I'll attach the link below for us, for different recipe formulas. For example, how would you get different items, and where do they sell for those items, which NPC sells for them, and later there's combinations of things that you can find. For example, some of the really interesting ones are down there, and there is a set of rare items. If you get a whole set of rare items, they include the full hand side, either a 2-handed weapon, or a weapon and a shield, or two-handed weapon, or 2 one-handed weapon. If you get a whole set of items and sell it to one NPC, you'll get 1 Chaos Orb. And if those items are not defined, you'll get 2 Chaos Orb. Notice all the item has to be golden, which is a rare quality. There's a lot of recipes you can go from, and sometimes they're even recipes people have not discovered or have not shared with others. So definitely try it yourself out. When you have items with NPC, try to sell different variety, and sometimes you can get a benefit out of it. So I'll definitely link this website for you guys. This is more complicated, but this is pretty much more variety. It should cover most of the known recipes for exchange. The key of exchange of currency is that you build up enough currency in your progression in the campaign or in the early game that you can actually buy some items once you get to the latest stage of the game, when you have difficulties against the different acts or bosses, or even in the end game. So this will conclude this part of the guide. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and if you guys have any future guides you want to look into. I'll slowly progress through the game for new players and cover most of the things I find helpful as I learn the game with you guys as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys.